Hey everybody, hope you all are doing well, and today we are back with another Whiskey Wonders, this time in the Costco from Westlake, which is in the northern part of Los Angeles, in a pretty fancy pants part of the neighborhood. And they have a great selection of really some hard to find mid-level Japanese whiskeys, things like Hibikis, Hakushu 12s, and a couple others as well, as per usual, a above average selection of bourbon. So today, we're going to go over the best bottles that we found out of the Wander, talk a little bit about the selection, and then do a full, unedited Wander at the very end. Now, if you like the Wanders, if you like the hauls, if you like the unboxings and bottlings and reviews and all the other great stuff we got cooking up for you, don't forget to like and subscribe. That way, you can get updates when our newest videos come out on Sundays and sometimes in between. All right, now, let's get down to the haul. Now, while we're waiting for the WandaVision to get warmed up a little bit, it is winter time now. Let ourselves get a little warmed up with a real quick whiskey check. And today, I'm going to be drinking, some of this Kentucky Owl bourbon. This is batch number 4. And, you know, it gets a lot of flack for being expensive and overpriced and overhyped. But you know what? I really do like it. I mean, despite all the love and the hate that it gets online. So, you know, it may be overpriced, but, you know, on a rare occasion, when I'm feeling frisky, I like to have a little bit just to enjoy. All right, so to whiskey, because you can never really have too much whiskey. You can only just drink it too fast. Cheers. Oh, that's good. Oh, wow. All right, so today we're going to start this wander off with a whiskey that up until recently, at least here in Southern California, was actually pretty difficult to find, which is this Hibiki Harmony. Now, I know it seems like essentially a lifetime ago, but Hibiki, believe it or not, used to make age statement whiskeys. They had a 12, they have a 17, they had a 21, and you can still find some of them, but they are typically at astronomical, exorbitant prices. There's just no way around that. Now, as a compromise to be able to continue to make production, Hibiki has essentially stopped making any age statement whiskey in order to make whiskeys like this, the Hibiki Harmony, which is a blend. Additionally, the Hibiki Harmony is probably going to be the easiest and best true Japanese whiskey that you're going to find at places like Costco and Total Wine and Bevmo. And it's sort of sad, though, to think that the reason why Japanese distillers like Suntory have sacrificed much of their precious and delicious age statement whiskeys is in order to have enough of whiskey overall to sell. I mean, it's just a matter of production. So, you know, at the most entry level of Japanese whiskey, I think that this Hibiki Harmony is a great option. Now, talking about the Harmony specifically, we can see here at Costco, the cost on it was at $74.99, which is a pretty reasonable price. But then again, I just saw it at Bevmo for $79.99, which is a bit over, but I also saw it at Total Wine at a lower price at $64.99, which puts the Costco price rarely in the mid-range in this case, so it's kind of unusual. That also means that if I did end up buying this one at Costco, which I did, not this time though, but previously, it means that I overpaid for it by $10 or 15.39%. Anyways, the ABV on this Hibiki is set at a pretty standard 43% for what you would normally get in Japanese whiskeys. They all kind of seem to be at a baseline for that. There are some that are higher, like Nika Straight from the Barrel and some other ones, but in general, at 43 to 46 is pretty standard. So, you know, it is going to have, get you a buzz going, but you're not going to be doing the rubato to Wang Chung later that night. The taste profile on it, and although I have not done a full review on it yet, so I'm taking a little bit from personal and a little bit from what I could find online, but what I can find is that the flavor palette that this one has a very light touch, which is great because it doesn't interfere with some of those lighter flavors, something that's maybe a bit more delicate, like a sushi or a salad or something like that. There are hints of vanilla, sweetness, and a good dose of summer fruits. It's not particularly complex. I mean, what you would expect from a whiskey that's kind of at the starting level. When I do typically drink it, it's usually one of those drinks that I will have at the beginning of the night because, once you start getting knee deep into a scotch that is peated or some of the hefty bourbons that I like, there's really no way to get back to a sensory ability to really enjoy the full slightness of this whiskey. Now, considering the sort of precarious position that Hibiki Harmony is in the sense that it is the first step to affordable Japanese whiskey, especially moving up from things like the Nika coffee malt or the coffee grain, which, again, that's exactly how I got started in the Japanese whiskey kind of world. And these things are great, especially if you're starting out and just trying to get accustomed to it. The Harmony is really that first step into a full Japanese whiskey. Kind of like when you get your first Tudor or Omega watch. It's not the end step in your journey of watch collecting, but it's going to get you going in the right direction. Also, it's not going to break the bank, and it is definitely obtainable, especially right now. Now, that being said, the ratings on it on average are around 89 points out of 100, which I could find online, but I think that's kind of a bit generous. I think that's probably a little too high for it. Personally, I would probably give it around an 85, but that's just me, right? Not included in the average. So again, overall, this Hibiki Harmony, it's a great whiskey to start off your Japanese whiskey journey. It's a great gift as well to give to somebody who maybe you don't know, or maybe they do know that they're into whiskey or Japanese whiskey specifically. But it has a nice gravitas to it. It has a beautiful bottle to it as well. It's not so hard to get, and it feels pretty expensive, but it's not so expensive in reality that it feels like you're kind of wasting money on a Japanese whiskey on somebody who, as a gift, doesn't enjoy Japanese whiskey. But it does feel nice. It looks nice, and I definitely would pick it up if you start running low. All right, next on the list is a whiskey that is starting to wade a little bit deeper, maybe right where the belly hits the water, into getting a more serious Japanese whiskey collection going, which is this Hakushu 12, which, like the Hibiki, is also from the Suntory distillery out of Japan, but it is one of those kind of first and few Japanese whiskeys that are still left that are carrying an age statement on them, as well as an age statement price. Again, this is another whiskey that over the last couple years was pretty difficult to get. I mean, people were previously camping out to get it, including myself. But that seems to be easing up a lot as more and more of the Hakushu 12 and really a lot of those Japanese Suntory products are starting to show up on shelves with some regularity. All right, so the Hakushu is really the lesser known and the more kind of brooding of Japanese whiskeys that, especially when you compare them to something like the Yamazaki 12, which is in the same family as the Suntory Beam group, but it's definitely made differently. It's in a different distillery, has a very different style, and it's quite enjoyable as well. But it's very, very different. And it's a great entry point, that is the Hakushu, into more serious Japanese whiskey collecting, which is good because if you're going to start down that path and eventually get to the Hakushu 18, I mean, it's quite a large step up in price. So given this 12's complexity and its unique smoky and salty flavors, it leaves a lot to enjoy while, realistically you're saving up your milk money to be able to get that 18 and also trying to find it. Now, luckily, the price here at Costco is very reasonable for the Hakushu 18, considering that you will find it on the secondhand market for really absurd prices. Here at Costco, we can see that the price is at $99.99, which is what I got for mine previously. So I didn't get it in this trip, but I got it previously. And I say, the $99.99 is a reasonable price because even at Bevmo, you're going to see it when it is available for $129.99. And even at Total Wine, which tends to be the next lowest cost place after Costco, it's at $124.99, which means that if you do buy it at Costco, you end up saving about $25 off the price, or 20%, which is quite good. The ABV on the Hakushu 12 is, again, right at that baseline percentage-wise, at 43%, similar to the Hibiki. And being well acquainted with this one, I would say the taste profile is more salty and peaty and very masculine, rather than on the Yamazaki 12, which is a lot more sweet and playful and kind of candy-like and fruity. So there is a big difference. This is the the rugged brother to the more, kind of artsy kind of guy. The Yamazaki 12, that is. Now, the Hakushu 12 has a rugged demeanor with flashes of fall fruits and honey that do come in between the smoke and brininess. And this one specifically would go great with barbecued meats that don't have barbecue sauce on them. So things like yakitori, or maybe a nice steak or pork ribs. I'm just getting hungry. Now, the ratings on it are also quite good, and the average that I could find for the review scores, not including mine, is kind of in the high 80s, so 87, 89 points, which, unlike the Hibiki, I think are thoroughly justified for this whiskey. It is very good. Of course, with the downfall of still being priced, like most other Japanese whiskeys, well above what the market price should hold for them. So overall, for me, I did not buy this Hibiki in this visit. I had this one previously because I have a couple of the bottles here already. Just in case there is another whiskey apocalypse, you never know. But it does seem to be easing up the inventory overall, and it's starting to be easier to find here on the West Coast. And for me, it is a buy if I'm running low. And admittedly, every time I see it at a Costco or a Total Wine, I have to psychologically, specifically think to myself, you have some at home. You don't need to pick this one up just in case. But I still end up putting it in the cart and kind of walking around with it for a little while until the wife's like, we have a bunch of those. Why are you bringing this? All right, so that's it for today's Whiskey Wanders in Westlake in Los Angeles. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates when our newest videos come out on Sundays and sometimes in between. Now, I will put the full wander on here at the very end for those folks who just like to watch the full unabridged version. But before I go, just remember, if you do see a whiskey that you love, just buy it. Because if you don't, somebody else surely will, and it might even be me. All right, everybody, that's it. Have a great rest of your day. I'm out. Adios, and here goes the wander.